Chad, what's going on, buddy? How are you doing?
Bert, I'm doing great, man. Just over here, got a couple of ice cold beers, ice cold water. Just having a good time, man. Having a good night.
Dude, man, I'm glad you're here. But listen, man, before we actually get started, I've been hearing this rumor buzzing around lately, and I just really can't get it off my mind. It's about the Candyman. Have you heard about that?
What do you mean, like the ice cream man?
No, 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 no. Gosh, I can go for some ice cream right now. But no, let me go ahead and tell you. It's about this. It's a rumor buzzing around. You stand in front of the mirror, you say his name 5 times, and then he comes and gets your ass and kills you.
Interesting. So you're essentially summoning your own death. It's like a free form of suicide, right? Right?
In a way, but for me, for shits and giggles, I tried it out, and it didn't work, man. So I think the rumor's bullshit. So I think we got nothing to worry about. But hey, listen, before we get started, I'm gonna go get me some honeycombs, and I'll be right back. But just remember, be yourself.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I will. I'll do my best. But you are good, yeah. You're good, right? Okay. I'll just be here a drinking. You know what I mean? God damn it! I knew it. I fucking knew it. What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting, where we hunt for the good real so you don't have to. It's your boy Chad. The BrettMan's over here, and today we're going to be reviewing Candyman of 2021. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct, my friend. And Chad, thank you for being here.
Absolutely, man. Of course. What else have I got going on a nice Thursday night? You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
scoop of
telling you,
water
man.
over
Like
here.
this, freaking Brad and Chris had to itch me, man. So you're like the last resort. I had to pay like $20. Is still okay with you, right? Like to buy you on here.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
very
just making
generous, I
sure.
thought. So, yeah, of course.
Yeah, very, very, very generous indeed. Because you got to remember, I'm generous. So, yeah, guys, Chad is with me here today, and we're going to be talking about Candyman 2021, the new recent release, and we're excited to talk about it. And here's how we're going to do this. The first part of this is going to be non spoilers, and then we'll put the little spoiler logo up for when we're going to dive into spoilers. So we'll be sure we'll give you fair warning on that. So, Chad, we're going to just start off with you, my friend. What did you like about Candyman 2021?
I love the ending. You know that part where he No, I'm just kidding. Of course, spoilers later. I went into this thing and I want to say this up top. Uh I watched the OG the night before that I went to go see this one,
Mm-hmm.
and that was 100% the right move. So if you have not seen this yet, do yourself a favor, go catch the OG before you go and watch the new one. It is a
Yes,
huge help.
definitely. And it's
Yeah.
on Peacock for free right now. That's
Yep.
where I watched it. So there
Yeah,
you
me
go.
too. Got a couple of ads in there, but who gives a damn? It's free, and you definitely need to see that. There's a lot of the plot of the new one is predicated on the 92 original. So more
Mm-hmm.
so than I would have thought. So it's definitely worth a gander to go back and check it out. Even though it is kind of rehashed in the new one, still go and check the old one out, and it'll will serve you well in watching the new one. But other than that,
Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoyed the new one for the most part. I felt like it wasn't quite what the trailers presented, but there really is a lot to love about the new one. There is some really haunting cinematography in there.
Mm-hmm.
The feel, and I've been to Chicago several times, and they really capture the feel of Chicago in there, and just the cinematography really lends itself to that. I can't say enough about that. I really thought that was a huge plus for this. It really lends itself to the atmosphere and the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And story wise, I thought that it was a cool modern take on the original. It kind of went off the rails at a certain point in there for me, a little bit. I wouldn't say that it's a bad movie by any stretch. It just kind of starts as one thing and kind of ends up as something else. But overall, I really dug it, man. I thought that it was a great rendition of a classic. It extends itself where in some places where the original started off at, and there are a lot of great callbacks. And overall, I thought that it was a good flick. What do you think about it?
Oh man, I'll just say this. Just really just kept leaving the theater. I absolutely loved it. I will go diving in more on why I loved it towards the spoiler part of it. But like you said, Chris or Chad, damn, I missed Chris already. But Chad, yeah, I love the cinematography. There were a lot of beautiful shots of not only the city but like certain scenes. Like it really enhances those scenes, and the lighting of those cinematography shots are like really great too. That set the tone and atmosphere to this movie. And I thought the characters were knocked right out of the park too. You were invested to I would say you were invested to most of them, especially the main character of Anthony. You were invested in him the most, and I just thought everybody did a really good job.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I I couldn't agree more. And I hope that I do not butcher this gentleman's name. It's Yahya Abdul Mateen, I think is his name.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope that's how you pronounce it. But dude, he's been killing it for a little while now. Okay, I've seen him in a lot of great things here recently, and I'm glad to see him get some lead work. He was Black Manta in Aquaman, and even though I didn't like that movie all that much, I thought that his performance was really great in that. He was really great in the trial of the Chicago Seven. I want to think that it was about the riots
He
and
was
everything.
also in Us too.
Yeah, he was. He was in Us. Yeah, so he is very. He's familiar with Jordan Peele, and but for his better performances, I think that he was the trial of Chicago 6 or 7, whichever it was. He was really great in that. And there was one other one that he was in just like the other day. I saw him in. Either
I
way,
saw he was in Baywatch.
it definitely wasn't Baywatch. It
Uh,
was something else. But
okay, but anyways.
he's definitely in Watchmen TV show. That's what I was
Oh,
thinking. Where he's Doctor Manhattan in that. And if you don't know the extent that he went to like pull off that performance, where he like changed his voice in certain scenes, and he really like worked out so he could be he could be comfortable naked in the scenes and stuff like that. Just an incredible actor all around, and it's really nice to see him take the lead in this one, and he doesn't disappoint at all. He was really great.
what I thought I liked about this movie as well is that it told a really great story. I was so invested into the story, and they did a really great job. And kind of like how you already mentioned it already, that it made it more modern for the newer audience while also respecting the original too. So I thought all around, everybody like in the cast did a really great job, and the crew did a really great job presenting this movie as well. Which I want to mention real quick because I've been seeing it a lot. Jordan Peele was not the director of this movie. He was a writer and a producer. The
Yeah,
director, and I'm really going to botch her name, is Nia DaCosta. She's
yeah.
the
I think it's
director of
DaCosta.
this
Yeah,
movie.
Nia DaCosta.
Yeah, she directed this movie, and I
Mhm.
thought she did a fantastic job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I hate that it took as long as it did to get to screens because I'm not really familiar with her work outside of this. Um, have you looked that up at all?
Yeah, I got it right here. She did Little Woods, and she's also got invited to the MCU with the Marvels, which I'm pretty sure is Captain Marvel too.
Okay. I'm not familiar with any of that, but I could say that, obviously Jordan Peele recognized some talent here because she fucking killed it, man. This one,
Yeah,
this one
she
was really, yeah. Even though the story at the end was a little, it went a little haywire for me, but the directing was phenomenal. And especially the death scenes, the horror part of it that some people are gonna be watching this for, excellent.
Mhm.
This was
Oh my
easily,
gosh.
yeah. Some of the death scenes in this are, I love they're not really in your face. It holds true to the Candyman of old, where a lot of it happens sort of off screen, and you get just enough to let your imagination fill in the blanks. And a lot of times, for me, I find that's the more chilling. The more you let your imagination play with it,
Yeah, especially in the
the
bathroom.
more
Holy
the
crap.
more intense. Yeah, the girls in the bathroom. Yeah, dude, that was fucking awesome. Uh,
Dumbasses.
what are you talking about? It says a spoiler.
Well, it's not that much of a spoiler. It was in the trailer, man. Come on, we figured
It is,
like
yes, of course, yeah. Outside of a few little things here and there at the end, the story was great. The acting was superb, and the gore, the horror part of it was phenomenal. Yeah, man. All in all, I wish it would have came out earlier, but worth the wait, I would
Mhm.
say.
Oh
Still a
yeah,
very
definitely
spectacular
worth
movie.
the wait. I felt like it came at a really good time where it's going to dominate for like a solid 2 or 3 weeks until Malignant comes out. I butchered that name too, but until that comes out for the horror like movie that's out in theaters. And yeah, love the kills. Just everybody did a great job. Any negatives? Because my negative is a character, one character in particular, and that's Troy. I feel like sometimes, well, I didn't mind his character. I feel like at times his character was too much, where it kind of like ruined the atmosphere and kind of like the tense part of the scenes.
I mean, Troy was the comedic relief, right? He's the
Yeah,
gay
like, and I
comedic
get it,
relief.
but like but at sometimes it's just a little too much. Like again, I do not mind a character of like him being gay on all that, no problem at all. It's just there's certain scenes where he's just a little much.
I guess I could see that. I didn't mind him. He was actually one of my. I really enjoyed his character quite a bit. Anytime that
Oh
he's
hell
on
yeah.
screen, he's always kind of a breath of fresh air. Like you get through people that are being murdered brutally, and then you get a little bit of Troy. Where it's like it's very heavy, and then you get a moment of levity. Um, with this over the top character. And so I thought that he provided the right amount of comedic relief. I actually thought, and in my opinion, I thought he maybe could have had a couple more scenes in there. Um, but it was appropriate, I think, to the flow of the story.
Hmm.
But yeah, I didn't have a problem with him at all. I thought that he was a nice bit of comedic relief and a nice levity for the story overall,
Hmm.
without giving
Yeah,
too much
and
away.
yeah, and again, like you said perfectly, I feel like what his character was really like the point of him in this story is to like when some bad shit happens, he's kind of like that, like you said, the breath of fresh air, kind of like the like you're up here, it brings you down a little bit before it brings you right back up there. So,
Yeah, right before you're
again, it's
about to have
just
a panic attack, over your anxiety, then he pops up and it's like, "Hey, you know what? It's okay." Kind of
mhm.
brings it back down just a notch.
Yeah,
That's the way that I
it's
felt
good
about it.
for
I was like,
Yeah, and it's good for horror movies to have moments like that too. But just to me, like when it is like bringing you back down, he was just a little too extra, just for me. And the other
I could
problem
I could see
I
that
had,
definitely.
hmm and the other problem I had with this movie too is just like the first act to me was just a little too slow for me. Like I understand they were trying to like explain all the characters, especially with Anthony and all that, and try to get the ball rolling. But just to me, I feel like they could have made it a little bit quicker.
I could see that. I could buy into that. I didn't mind it that much. Honestly, for me, my taste, the movie could have been about 15 minutes longer, and they could have spent a little bit more time on that first act and change the third act around just a little bit, and I'll go into that in the spoiler section. But I didn't mind the setup at the very beginning, the introduction to the characters. In my opinion, I think the more time you can spend with the characters before shit pops off, the better it's going to serve the story. Because at the end of the day, if you don't feel something at the end of it, if you're not, if the story is not evoking some sort of emotional response from you, then it's really not doing its job, and it's not worth a damn. So I think the more time you get to spend with characters, the better. And I think you got a good amount here, not over the top, but I can see how you would see that, Bert, where you would want to, hey, let's, we're here for Candyman, and we all know why we're in the cinema. Let's get this motherfucker hooking some people, So I get that.
Yeah, but I don't mind like establishing characters. I just feel like it was done a little bit too slow in the first act. But once after that first act, and once we established the story and Candyman was mentioned, not a problem throughout the rest of the movie. I thought it was actually really well paced after that.
Yeah, and like I said, I could buy that. Everybody's tastes are different, and some people just want to jump right into it, and I get that. And it didn't bother me that much, but there are definitely movies where I'm like, hey, you know what, we don't need all this. We know why we're here. Let's just watch this guy kill some people. And so I can buy that here as well. But I don't really have too many other spoiler-free positives or negatives or anything. I think overall, it's definitely worth. It's worth a trip to the theater. It's that good for me. It's like, oh, if this was on HBO Max, I think I would still go to the theater and watch it. I think it's that kind of movie. It's worthy of that. And it's a really nice. I actually dug that it had such a callback to the OG. Back in '92. I mean, that movie wasn't anything close to what I remembered it being as a kid. So it's nice that it was there was a good callback to that, and it really brings that old story, that old mythology, if you will, into the modern era, and does it with some style, man. I gotta say, I thought it was really the kills were unique, the story and design of it were really cool. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I really did.
Yeah, I did too. And so I say without further ado, this is the end of our non-spoiler review on it. So this is the part where we're going to talk about spoilers. So if you have not seen this movie in theater, stop this video, go over to the theater and watch this, and then come right back here for the spoiler talk. You have been warned. So Chris, immediately spoiler time. Tony Todd, he made his appearance in the very end of it. What did you think about that?
You know what, man? I'm so fucking pissed off that Tony Todd did not have a better cameo in this. And I had spoiled it for myself, and I knew ahead of time that Tony Todd was only going to have like a very brief thing in this, and it was almost CGI at that. It was like they tried to de-age him a little bit. Man, I thought he was going to have a big role in this. He deserves that. The what he did with the original Candyman is so fucking iconic, and I just can't believe they wouldn't include him more in this. And I don't know, man. It's not my place to say, but this is a very quintessential. I don't know. The way that I see it, I mean,
it's an important '90s horror movie.
I absolutely an important
agree.
'90s horror movie, but this is like a quintessential black horror movie. You know what I mean? And they really dive into that in this one, and I love that fact about it. And to not include, the man who made this character, way back when, just seems like a crime to me to not have him in there more. I didn't think he was going to appear as Candyman. I thought he was going to be like a side character or something. You know what I mean? They could have easily cast the
William Burke.
Yes, William Burke. Okay, that could have been played by Tony Todd. Not to take away the work from Mr. Burke there, but that could have been played by Tony Todd, and that would have been such a nice like homage to the original, right? At least in my opinion. I don't know. And who the fuck am I? I don't know. But
yeah,
I thought that
I agree with you.
well.
No, I agree with you. I feel like he easily could have had a better cameo than this because with what he did into the original and how iconic he is, that pretty much just jumpstarted his entire acting career almost. That led him some big like roles in Final Destination, little roles in the Hatchet franchise. So he's definitely a very popular figure in the horror genre because of this movie, and I totally do wish he had a big role. I liked your idea, but he should have probably been the one to play William Burke, the character. I didn't have a problem with the actor who did play him, but I agree
No,
with you. We should have gave Tony Todd a better part. And the CGI, that's bullshit. It looks really bad, just because we all know that Tony Todd does not look like that.
yeah, and that was what pissed me off. Was like, you know what? He could have just been in there as a regular actor. You didn't need to CGI him in there at the last minute. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that part kind of burned me a little bit. Ah, I hate that for him because I mean, if we're being honest here, I mean, Tony Todd hasn't been in a lot of things here recently. You know, with the Final Destination being over, I haven't seen him in a lot of things. I'm sure he's still getting work, but this would have been like really meaningful work for a character that he created all those years ago and made iconic. For him to come back and have a meaningful part would have been, I think that would have been cool to see. I don't know, as a fan, there might have been
Mm-hmm.
scheduling issues or who knows what the fuck in between making the movie. But as a fan, it would have been cool to see him have a more substantial part.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And let's go to the story because like even before we started recording on here, you had issues with the story towards this at the second half of the movie, which I kind of feel the opposite. So do you want to expand upon that?
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of said in the spoiler-free section there, if you will, it doesn't bother me to set characters up, to see them being set up in the beginning. The more time that I can spend with characters without, things happening, I think it serves the story later on. So I didn't mind spending the time with Anthony. He's obviously in a sort of writer's block phase of his career as an artist. And yeah, I love the relationship. And I actually really enjoyed Troy and I can't remember what his boyfriend's name is there. Grady.
Yeah, Grady. Yes, Grady Smith.
Yes, yes. So I really dug their banter back and forth. I think that made the whole thing, the comedic relief between them two, and how they kind of show up at the beginning and set everything up. I thought was a great entrance into this story and these characters. And I I really dug that. The time I really wish that we could have spent some more time with them and got a little bit more backstory out of that first act there a little bit. But once things get rolling with the with Candyman, where is the first instance that they? Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Troy's the one who brings Candyman into the fold, right? Because this is a
Mm-hmm.
very
Well,
early.
actually, he
I mean,
brought
literally
Helen
just like.
Lyle to the role, and then later on, Anthony learned about Candyman.
Right. And so, the viewers will have to forgive me. We literally are doing this. Just let the theater, this is still fresh in the memory. So I'm still trying to rehash everything that happened here. So yeah, he is the one who brings Helen to the forefront and has her story. He tells her story at the very beginning. Uh, then that's cool because that's where I was talking about, where it's kind of a good blend between modern and the old school. And I love the little stick figure sort of CGI that they had, which there's a call to, and
Yes.
your screen back there. All of that stuff was a nice little touch there.
Yeah, I absolutely loved all that.
Yeah, that was a really cool little way to have a callback without having to do complete flashbacks. And so I really dug all that, and I love the way that the direction that it was moving, and the actor William Burke, who, uh, yeah, Anthony meets at the laundromat, kind of takes him in. That whole relationship was great. I thought, as much as I would have loved to have seen Tony Todd in that character, the William Burke guy really killed it right there. I thought that actor was phenomenal in shedding just enough light on Candyman that you're interested, but at that point, it's not enough to really frighten Anthony, And I thought that was a really nice touch. But things go on, and he sort of, as a callback to the original, throughout the movie, as he's sort of, going crazy, as he's tipping over into that point where Candyman is sort of, really having an effect on his psyche. And forgive me, okay, this is not. It just seemed a little heavy-handed there in the last little bit of the movie, where it really shifts from being uh, about Anthony and his psyche and him sort of losing control. All of a sudden, for me, it shifts very quickly to where we as an audience, Anthony is our conduit. We're seeing this story through his eyes, and we're sort of experiencing everything with him. And then there's a certain point where he sort of goes off screen, and then his girlfriend, what is that
Brianna.
name? Brianna, yes. Oh, Stone Cold Fox. I don't know who that actress is, but God damn,
that's Tanoia Paris. If I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes, yeah, and so total smoke show. But she runs in, and she's trying to rescue him, in the laundromat place, and it just sort of takes that turn so sharply. Like I just feel like there was a way that we could have been so slowly introduced into this fact, into this sort of realm, or whatever you want to call it. There's just we could have been introduced into this. If the story was going to go in this direction, it should have been a little bit slower. It's a very harsh, very stark, like, hey, we're here now, and this guy, we don't really get in any because the gentleman, William Burke's character, what is that character's name?
Coleman Domingo.
Exactly, Coleman Domingo. So he's down there, and it doesn't really explain why is Anthony's hand eroding. And why is he starting to get these sort of bee-like, or these like honeycomb effects, all up and down his face? I mean, yeah, he's trying to make him Candyman, but why it doesn't? Can you explain that to me? Am I missing something? Why is he?
Well, it's just with William's character, we saw him as a kid, wasn't allowed to go into the bathroom with his sister in there while the sister's, saying his name 5 times in the mirror, and it kind of scarred him. In a way, actually, when I'm kind of thinking about it, they really didn't do a good job of his reasoning of why he's making Candyman, because that was the big thing in this movie too, that the Candyman that we do get in this one is not the traditional Tony Todd one, because they are explaining that there have been multiple Candymans throughout time, and the very first case was 1890 with Tony Todd's character, because he's the main hive, as they described it.
Right, and we don't really understand why he's doing that, and we don't really understand what it is that, we understand that Candyman is this supernatural force. He comes in, we see him in the mirrors, he's killing people, but why is it that the character of Anthony is his hand is eroding? And we see him call to Candyman early in the flick, but the other people that call to Candyman, they're fucking executed immediately. So, is it the same?
Well, it's probably the same as the Helen effect, that they chose him to be the next Candyman, because the big reveal in this one that his mother was Annie from the original, with her that's telling Helen about the story about the Candyman. She had the baby. Well, that baby is Anthony. That's the big thing about this movie. So I actually call this movie a sequel, not a reboot, not a remake. This is an actual sequel to the original Candyman, and
it is.
That's when Annie.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when Annie just kind of explained everything about how Anthony kind of like a chosen one. That's why Tony Todd, unlike the original Candyman, was so invested into the baby, just because that baby was going to be like the next Candyman or a feature one.
Right. And I mean, I can kind of buy into that a little bit. You know, but again, it happens so swiftly. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of like, it leaves you asking so many questions. It doesn't really, guide us into it. Uh, it's just kind of there all of a sudden. And so that kind of bothered me a little bit. I don't know. Just as a casual viewer, that kind of bothered me a little bit. And then as we're headed into the final showdown there, I don't know, something about Brianna that's just like, she doesn't believe him, and then suddenly she does. I'll tell you what I do love, though. I love whenever she opens up the door to the stairway downstairs and she says nope, and then she shuts the door back.
Yeah, that was
That
great.
was fucking awesome. Yeah, I was like, because as soon as she opened it up, I thought in my head, Jesus Christ, she's gonna go downstairs and this is gonna be the end for her. And just the fact that she's like, nope, and she shuts it back, I thought was great. But it was a very stark change between that, and then all of a sudden, Anthony is just there to ask questions, and then all of a sudden he has like, his face is all like honeycomb, and his eyes, whatever. I don't know.
Well, those were kind of like burn marks, though. I think that's what, because remember, Candyman get burned alive, and I feel like those were more burn marks.
So I guess whenever whenever, other people call on Candyman, they're murdered immediately. And whenever he called on Candyman, since he was the chosen one or whatever, then he, instead of dying immediately, he just starts the transition into the new Candyman. I guess that's what
exactly. No,
okay.
That's exactly what happened. And I like that transition, but I agree with you. When we got to the church with William Burke, that was kind of like we went from A to C without getting B, which is kind of like the real true explanation of why William Burke is doing all this. It's like a rub, like you said. So I definitely didn't like that part in the third act.
Yeah, and starting that whole thing off, I mean, I just felt like that was just kind of like, hey, we've been waiting patiently this whole time. Everything has been taking its time to build up, and then all of a sudden we're like, holy shit, he just hacksawed this guy's hand off, and now he's just like shoving the hook into the stump, and Anthony's just like, and then what, Brianna's like running outside for her life, and then the cops are showing up, and I don't know.
It's like she immediately became a final girl, which I felt like that was kind of like, what? I thought it was about Anthony, but no, it turned out at the very end that she was like a final girl type deal, even though to me it didn't feel earned.
Yeah, and then she's in the car there at the end, and I don't know that the whole thing, like I said, there at the end, and that's could just be me, and I feel like it has something a little bit to do with the nature of what's happened in the past year and a half. This thing it came out a little bit later than it was supposed to. It just the message at the end just feels a little bit heavy handed, but that's just me. But nevertheless impactful. That's not taken away from the impact of it. And so for that guy to be there in the car and her, but and it kind of redeems itself there when she's like, well, can I just see myself? And then she calls into the
Candyman and Kids Anthony.
And the outside you can see Anthony just killing everybody. And then as the door opens and she goes out, that's the Tony Todd kind of thing there, where it's like the original Candyman. It's like, tell everyone. And it's almost like a Freddy Krueger type of scenario where, it's like, hey, tell everyone.
Don't forget my name. Yeah.
Yeah. The more people you can tell and bring this fear upon, then we can, I can grow because of that. So I love that. I just wish they, I feel like they could have done Tony Todd a little bit more justice, but nevertheless, man,
Yeah,
great movie. Great cast, great characters. Just, I don't know, the ending seemed to happen really abruptly for me. And I feel like they could have taken their time a little bit on that, make it 15 minutes longer. Who gives a damn, and just kind of stretch that. You could have that same storyline and just stretch it out a little bit and nuance it a little bit more.
All right, Chad. So I feel like we pretty much did our non-spoiler and spoiler review. So let's go ahead and rate this bad boy. What would you give it?
Yeah, Daddy. I tell you what, I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I would have changed a couple of things, but I really did like it. And keep in mind, this may change. We just left the theater, and I really would like to watch this thing again. But my first reaction, and this is going to be kind of in between because I couldn't really decide where I was going to go. So I'll give it a 3.75. My initial reaction, 3.75.
Okay. And as we were talking about this movie, before I got on here, it was about 4.5 for me. But since we talked about some little details about the movie, you brought up some great points, and I just kind of like was thinking about other things. I will give this movie a 4.25 out of 5. So with our scores, that's actually going to be a 4. So that is a good old trip to the Tosche station to get some good old power converters.
I got power converters.
But I was going into Tosche Station to pick up some power converters.
So, guys, that's our freaking review for Candyman 2021. And we hope you all get out to the theaters to go see it. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fly us out of here like a bumblebee, man. So, guys.
Absolutely, man.
Frick yeah. So, guys, what did you all think about Candyman 2021? Did you all enjoy this movie, or did you have some or not like it as much, and things could be tweaked around a little bit? Let us know in that comment section down below, and let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you want to help us find the good reels, you can do so by checking us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Letterboxd, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Absolutely. And Chad, you did that better than Brad, so I think I keep you for a little while longer.
Woo! That's what I've been practicing that shit all week. So we will see you guys next week.
Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
Not yet. I know you're getting excited. I'm getting excited too. And if you want more of the Chad on here, be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe. And of course, ring that bell, ding, 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 so you know when the next video is up and ready.
The Chad. Absolutely. And we'll see you guys next week with a bowl full of honey, a couple of bees, a hook in our right hand, whatever we
Hell, and maybe some Shanting and the Legendary to 10 Rings. You might never know. So just, again, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next time.